This channel is about things I learn along the way that are not in the manual. Today I'm working on my Triumph Spitfire Mark III, and I've been having some problems with the overdrive not disengaging, and I didn't know if it was electrical, if I didn't know it had to do with the oil or what. And so what I decided to do was to rewire this warning light temporarily for diagnostics, so that as I put my when I engage my overdrive, the light comes on. When I disengage it, it comes off. So that way I can tell when it's actually, the solenoid is actually being energized. This is helping me diagnose why my overdrive is not disengaging consistently. And in fact, it did help me figure out what the problem was. So I'll show you how I wired it up and how I made a custom socket for this, so I didn't have to cut my original socket, my original wiring. And okay, so let's go and take a look at this and see what we did. While testing, I have the positive side of the coil unplugged, so I'm not burning up my points. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a J-type overdrive. I do have a Mark III 1296cc engine in it, and the flywheel and so on has been, and the clutch disc has been adapted correctly, as well as I had to take a little slice out of down here to get it in. So those of you who are sharp, notice I have a J-style overdrive in a Mark III, which should take an A-style, but I got the J-style pretty cheap. I got it for $250 some years ago, and a great deal. Well, I thought since the brake indicator was easier to get to than the hazard, I might use it, but I realized I don't want to cut that wire. That wire goes into here, so I don't want to cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and take these two knobs off with the Allen wrench. Take these 4 screws out, and I'm going to go ahead and see how the hazard light is wired up. I could get on my back under there, you know, but I don't like doing that anymore. I'm too old. So today the goal is I need to rewire my overdrive switch, and before I just had some the old connectors stuffed in there, but they really weren't a good connection. So I looked at a number of options. I thought about soldering on to here to create a connector or something or other, and went down to Santa Cruz Electronics. We first looked at this pin, male and female connectors, and I thought I could make it, you know, just go ahead and solder the wire on here. But then we got looking around and found these. He had these in a spare parts bin, so I don't have a part number on it, but they have a side profile that looks like that. Well, I've bent these down just a little bit, and they will slide firmly and connect into there just nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the tabs of the old connector off and put these on and see how that works. Parked under a tree yesterday and left needles all over the place. Anyway, so here are the wires coming out, and there's that tab of the old connector there. So I'll just cut these off and attach in and solder these. So they're soldered and shrink wrapped on now. So now we'll put this back on. And there's a little nut with a slice in there. I don't know what the proper tool is to put that on. Yeah, I'm just going to test it now. So I'll just go ahead and I think use a screwdriver, turn that in, and I'll have to do this two-handed. Well, it was a little challenging to get that started, but once it was started, I can I can turn it with the screwdriver. It wasn't too bad getting that tight in the last little bit. Now it's not fully tight, so we'll take a crescent wrench on the lower nut and just tighten it up the rest of the way. And that got it. Now we just have to plug those wires into there and pop it on. I looked around for a light to put in the this. This is the brake indicator. I looked around for a light. I couldn't find one. So what I did was I went down to Santa Cruz Electronics, bought a flush lens panel lamp, this lamp here. Took a piece of dowel, sanded it down so it would just barely fit in that lens. Drilled a 5/16 inch hole through it, so it'll do that. And this will push in here, and just a little bit of RTV or something in there that'll stick. So that's going to be my temporary solution until I can find another socket and use a regular lamp out of it. But I didn't want to wait to find one, so this will work for now. Okay, here's my light, and I've attached one end to the ground on the gauge, and the other end is going to a wire. The route goes back down through the firewall, and it comes back and it connects on a piggyback connector here. I don't like cutting the wires on my original wiring harness. That's why I'm going to leave the original warning bulb here. I'll wrap it up and tuck it back up under behind. So that should do it. I'm not going to test it until I pull the car out. It's been sticking. Again, it's been sticking in on, and I don't want to turn it on and then go try to reverse or back out. I don't want to go in reverse with the overdrive engaged. So I'm going to go ahead and back out before and be going forward before I test it, and I can make sure that I'm disengaged from overdrive before I pull into my garage. What we're seeing is that my solenoid is not disengaging, so I suspect it's the still this switch. So we've diagnosed it to the point, I think. I pulled the switch out partway and flipped it back and forth, and it was just as reliable as could be. Really like having the brake indicator there. So switch is reliable as can be as far as the light coming. So it's not in gear, so it's not going to come on. But let's see, let's put it in third. There we go. In, out, in, out, in, out. But when I put this in the socket, it will occasionally short out. I think it's happening on these, so I have to decide now, do I grind these down? I think those are part of the switch to hold the switch together, so I'm not sure I'm going to do that. Do I put a piece of cardboard over that, to keep it from shorting on here? I'm going to think about it. So I loosened this a couple more turns and tightened it up, lifting this whole body, the gear shift body, up away from the whole thing. So even though it's not all the way engaged in all the threads, that does seem to be, when I put it back down and test it, it does seem to prevent it from coming anywhere near the contacts down there. So maybe that's all it is just make sure to adjust this so that those contacts don't ground out on the threads. Not me.
No.
Okay, so I was talking about the overdrive and the twisties. So here I can flip the overdrive on, and so when I come in and I want to downshift, I can use the overdrive as a 3.5 gear, which it's just the right speed for right in these kind of twisties. So we're coming up, there's the toll house. It's historic marker there. Used to be a toll road here when there were horses and stuff on this road. Here we go. So now we got a downshift again because we got a 50-mile-an-hour turn. Not the best example. You can probably hear my fan belts a little loose. These are all people hiking in Henry Cow. I got my first speeding ticket right in here for supposedly going 45 on this turn back in the 70s. So here we go. Overdrive in. And now we're going to downshift around the corner. Kick down. Makes quite a bit of difference in the sound and the noise of the car. Put it back on. Off. Then it's on. That makes it a little more pleasant to drive. Well, so there we go. I rewired the brake light as an overdrive indicator light. We discovered that the problem was in the switch. So glad to have that done. Eventually I'll get another socket and redo it over the hazard light side. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you found it helpful, please subscribe or make a comment if you know something I don't about all this, and like it. It encourages me to do more. Thanks again for watching.